Hello and welcome back to Speed Model. We are nearly done. In fact, all that's left to do is to actually build the bathrooms and sort of go around, make sure that all the rooms have enough details, and we're ready to call it a day. We're ready to actually do our final renders. So without any further ado, let us jump in and finish up this project. After fitting the scale model into the bathrooms, I realized just how little room there was available for them. As such, after much internal struggling, I decided to repartition the area into 2 bathrooms instead of 3. Of course, given the horrible state of my wall mesh, this wasn't particularly easy to do. As you can see, I'm spending a lot of time trying to patch up holes, reassembling the walls, and splitting it again down the middle. Once that's done, I still have to cut holes in the walls for the doors. I repeated the same painstaking process for the other set of bathrooms as well, though I did this off screen. Once that's done, I began building the bathroom, taking some of the assets created in the last season of Speed Model, scaling and repositioning them to get them in place. I skipped importing the sink, however, since that one was attached to a little cabinet at the bottom, which I didn't want here. I also decided to add a few more details, starting with a little pipe that connects the cistern to the toilet itself. I tried a lazy method with a simple mesh that didn't quite work, so I went back to the old extrude and rotate method. I mixed up the positioning again before noticing a strange shadow on the toilet. Turns out one vertex got merged in a pretty strange manner, so I quickly fixed that. Once I'm sure that everything is positioned correctly, I began to build a sink, starting with a simple cube which I bevel up. Then I introduce a stretched out sphere, and perform a boolean differencing to cut a curved shape in the mesh. It takes some time to get everything right. When that's done, I tweak the positioning of everything again, before starting to build the little drain at the bottom of the sink. After thinking through a few styles, I decided to go for the kind with the push button, since that seems to be the easiest to model here. Then I proceed to model the pipes coming out as well, connecting it to the floor. With that one bathroom done, I duplicate its contents for all the 4 bathrooms. I happened to notice a hole in the wall for some reason, which I quickly patch up. I also noticed the mirrors tended to clip through the wall. A quick shift fixes that. I also decide to color up just one of the walls with a darker color. With that done, I still had to fix up the lighting. Unfortunately, deleting panels is much easier than replacing them, so it takes a while as I duplicate one of the panels to cover up the extra exposed panels over the bathroom. With that done, I place and adjust lights so that the bathrooms actually get illuminated. I decide to add just a little bit more detail with one of those cheese wheel type toilet paper dispensers. With a simple cylinder, I bulge the center out a little and delete a few faces from the bottom. Then I give it a semi-transparent blue color. I then create the paper itself and stick it in the center, tweaking shadows until it looks just right. I also decide to give the bulge center an opaque color. Finally, it is time to model the piece of paper that comes out over the side. I do that with a simple plane and duplicate the roll to all the bathrooms. It's now time to do a final once over before we start rendering. I realized I never put the conference room computer tower in place, so I quickly fixed that. I also fix up some naming and grouping issues. I decide to add just a bit more details to the conference room, copying papers, pens, and a mug across. I then zip over to the lounge, deciding to create several speakers for the room. These are just a simple textured cube. I also decide to create a subwoofer, so in GIMP, I quickly tweak up the texture, duplicating the speaker cone to a left and right pattern. After some UV tweaking, the subwoofer is complete. The TV console still looked really empty, and I'm out of ideas what to stick in there, so I just built 2 doors to cover up the areas in which there are no items. Next up, I decide to build a little planter, which can be easily managed with the resources we already have. It takes some time to get the correct UVs for the gravel, but once that's done, I copy over the plant from the office and place it into the planter. I wanted the plant to be a little bit shorter and a little more elegant looking, so you can see me messing with the particle settings until it all looks right. Finally, I go over to the pantry and copy the 2 magazines over to place it on the desk. Then I copy a few mugs over as well, just so it seems like people are actually using the room. And with that, it is time to enjoy the fruits of our labor. This has been our longest season of speed model yet, with the most work done, totaling about 17 hours of screen capture, which is about 23 gigabytes of footage. The scene itself contains a whopping 539 objects, totaling about 166,000 vertices. Despite that, we've only used 26 textures, 8 of which were made from scratch, while the rest rely on public domain and Creative Commons assets. This number excludes what is actually shown on all the screens. So there you go, that's this season of Speed Model. Our office is complete. So that's it for this season. I hope you've enjoyed the journey up to this point. Now, I want to thank all the creators of all the textures. I downloaded them from Flickr, they're all under the Creative Commons license. So yeah, huge shout out to all these people. As always, they're the ones who actually make this render look the way it is. So yeah, thank you very much to these content creators, and thank you very much to you for watching. Until next time, you're watching 0612 TV. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, consider checking out the rest of my work on my channel. Alternatively, you may be interested in the last season of Speed Model. If you'd like to show me some monetary support, I am on Patreon. You can find a link to my campaign in the video description. Of course, you can simply like this video or leave a comment. I'll be sure to respond as soon as I can. To keep in touch with my future uploads, do subscribe to this channel. And for even more updates, check out the official Twitter account for this channel at 0612TV. Thank you for your support.